Our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Down goes Donald Trump. Down goes Donald Trump. Guilty, all 34 counts. The most important stuff is the details, and will he actually go to prison? Anna.
Now, this obviously makes Trump the first ever former president of the United States who has been convicted of felonies. And while there weren't any cameras allowed in the courtroom as the verdict was read, we have Jake Tapper reading the results of the verdict one by one. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. All 34 are felonies. Donald Trump has now been convicted of 34 different felony crimes by a jury of his peers in Manhattan.
Now, these are 34 counts having to do with falsifying business records to cover up the campaign finance violations of paying Stormy Daniels and others hush money payments, or money to kill Karen McDougal's story in The Inquirer. Now, Donald Trump, of course, did not take the news so well. Let's go to this tweet that has a screenshot from Jordan Ewell. Trump has a frowned expression on his face as the verdict reading is completed. He is not moving. And he did issue a statement immediately after leaving the courtroom. Let's hear what he had to say.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA. And the whole thing, we didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Obviously, Joe Biden, as someone who serves as president in the federal government, had nothing to do with this case that was brought forth by the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. But it doesn't matter. That message that you just heard from Trump resonated with Republican voters to the point where donations to his campaign skyrocketed immediately after the verdict, to the point where his Win Red campaign page is down. Last time I checked, it was down. It might be up at this point or by the time you watch this video. But again, that message seemed to resonate, calling this a political hit job. Donald Trump's legal team, by the way, even before the verdict was read, was already planning for what to do should Trump be found guilty. And of course, they're planning to appeal this case and make the same argument that you heard Trump make there, that he didn't have a fair shake, that this was a politically motivated trial, and that the judge was biased, that the jury was biased. So we'll see how that plays out. But I should also note that sentencing has already been scheduled for July 11th, which his attorney Todd Blanche had asked for. So July 11th at 10 a.m. will be Donald Trump's sentencing.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. So many things to sort out here. Is he actually gonna go to prison? Can he vote if he's a convicted felon? I'm gonna have the answer for you guys in a second. First on the actual sentence, he says, he's not just innocent. He's very innocent. Well, you know what would have helped your cause in proving you were very innocent? If you had presented evidence during the trial that you were innocent. So he never has any evidence. He loses almost every time in court. On the election issues in 2020, he lost 61 times in a row, him and his allies, because BS works great in politics and in media, unfortunately. And that's what he's good at, getting in front of a TV and lying until people believe him, until enough people believe him. But that doesn't work in court, because then the judge says, yes, but what's your evidence? And he doesn't have any. He says, oh, this is very rigged. It was because of the DA and this. Well, then how come a jury of your peers convicted you? And not only that, they wanted to make sure, because they convicted him on all 34 counts. So Trump's lawyer says, oh yeah? I'm gonna go juror by juror and make sure that they all think he's guilty. And so all the jurors said yes, guilty on all 34 counts.
That's not rare. That does happen at trials. I want to be clear.
Yeah, no problem. I'm a little worried in his case.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm watching all of you guys and later I'll threaten all of you.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there is some fear about that and the jurors are worried about that. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, there should be consequences.
There should be severe consequences.
I agree, yeah.
So look, guys, there's going to be appeals, but once you're sentenced, then there's another question of, wait, does he go to, like a normal defendant could go to prison while the appeals are happening. Is that going to happen for Trump? That is very unlikely.
I doubt it.
Right, and look, my guess is that probably the best you could hope for is house arrest, given that he's running for president and he's the nominee of a major party and he's winning currently. And of course, is this gonna affect his election? All that's coming up. But first, as I promised you, can he vote? And the answer is, it depends. So he's currently living in Florida and would be voting in Florida. And Florida says that they depend on where you get convicted. So they defer to the state you were convicted in, which in this case is New York. So in New York, can a convicted felon vote? And the answer is, it depends on whether he went to prison. If he went to prison, then he cannot vote. If he does not go to prison, then he can vote. So if the appeals are done by the end he's sentenced, by the time the election comes around and he has to go to prison in any way, shape, or form, then he will not be able to vote in his own election.
Would that also include house arrest?
So we're gonna have to see, because all of this is gonna get adjudicated.
Yeah.
And of course, he's gonna make 100 different arguments and he's gonna say, oh, this is all unfair. And since I'm under house arrest at Mar-a-Lago, I should be able to vote. And technically it's not a prison, but we don't know that it's gonna be house arrest. We don't know any of that. July 11th, obviously a monumental date. They're going to sentence a president of the United States. Is he gonna get any time? Or could they say, yes, he's guilty, but he should receive probation, parole, community service? I'd love to see him picking up trash on the side of the road. He's already orange, it'll match his orange outfit. So, but the bottom line, guys, is they will now, because now we're re-entering the arena of media and politics, stepping outside of the courtroom. So all you will hear from his side and Fox News and all the other guys is nothing but a wall of lies. That, oh no, it's not about the evidence, it's not a jury of his peers. And by the way, if they had voted to acquit, you would have heard the exact opposite from Fox News and all of his allies. Oh, you see that? He was proven innocent. We told you he's the best. He never did anything wrong.
I mean, a really good example, just to juxtapose their commentary on this case versus the commentary I've been seeing from conservatives in the classified documents case. You know, the judge presiding over the classified documents case seems to favor Trump, seems to be a lot more friendly to Trump and supportive of Trump, and just recently denied the prosecution's request to issue a gag order against Trump. And you see the commentary from conservatives in regard to that case, and since she seems to be more favorable to Trump, it's nothing but glowing commentary about her.
Of course,
right?
and in this case, Trump has attacked the judge in 18 different ways, including today. That's all he ever does. Yes, in politics that works, tearing down your opponent. But in a court case, oh, Your Honor, and for the appeals, he's gonna say to the higher judges, well, I still have no evidence and I was definitely guilty, but I didn't like my judge. I thought he was biased. Well, good luck with that. It's never gonna work. So look, I think that I have to be honest, this is about Trump, this is about the elections, etc. But a little bit of indication here for me, because I said this case should definitely go forward. I remember all of cable news going, well, I don't know about this case. Oh, you know, is this important enough, etc. I'm like, no, he definitely did it. There's no question he falsified the business records, it's clear as day. And his co-conspirator, Michael Cohen, already went to prison and was convicted on these charges.
Exactly, yeah.
And so of course he was gonna get convicted if there was a fair trial, and there was a fair trial. And now they say, well, look, it's not a jury. He's saying it shouldn't have been in New York. But brother, your business is in New York and the crimes are committed in New York. So what did you want us to do? Pick a random state out of a hat? That's not how the law works. But he doesn't care about the law at all. And by the way, tick, 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 tick for him firing his lawyers and not paying them.
That's a really great prediction, and I would not bet money against your prediction. The thing that I will say though is, I believe that this verdict was the correct verdict. I agree with the verdict, and I believe that based on the evidence presented, based on the testimony that was presented during this case, he was guilty of all 34 counts. I don't think that the case was unfair to him, and again, I agree with the verdict. There's a feeling I have though, I don't know, maybe it's unjustified, but I have this feeling of unease. Because you're right, Cenk, now this issue leaves the courtroom, and now there's the media manipulation, there's the political manipulation at a time when the country is already incredibly divided. And I don't know, I'm just uneasy, right?
No, Anna, you're totally right, and I'm super worried about it because, but an interesting visceral reaction happened for me in particular, because I actually was not worried about it at all. Like I heard a lot of people worrying, oh my God, what's this fans gonna do? But I'm like, look, I've seen the reactions. I've been warning about the polling that shows that over a third of Republicans say it's time for violence, et cetera, right? But the minute that it was announced that he was guilty on all 34 counts, that's when I started worrying.
Yeah,
like
same.
it hit me instantly, like, the Trump people are going to be furious about this. And the great irony of this, guys, is that finally one of the elites has been held accountable in America. A rich and powerful person has been found guilty and justice has been delivered. And the populace, now Trump's a fake populist, but I think a lot of MAGA, the voters themselves, are actual populists. They hate the establishment, they hate the corruption, and they've gone in a wrong direction with Trump. But those guys now are cheerleading for, you can't put our elite in jail. No, guys, we were supposed to hold everyone accountable. But on the other hand, to the establishment who does not understand MAGA, their number one thing isn't that Trump is innocent. Yes, of course, some of them think that, right? But a lot of them these days go, I know he did it. But they add, so does everyone else, and they never get tried.
That is the argument that you will see. That's the more widespread argument.
And by the way, that is the fairer argument.
It is absolutely the fairer argument. I mean, how much criminality do we see in our Congress? I mean, in some cases, brazen criminality, well, it would be considered criminality if we engaged in the same behavior, things like insider trading, and it goes with impunity, right?
Yeah, but that's exactly right. But MAGA, you gotta understand, that's not a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, the whataboutism isn't a defense when someone has committed a crime.
Exactly, you can't go to trial and go, well, obviously I did it and I committed fraud, but what about Biden? What about Hillary? That's not a defense and that's not evidence. That's actually a confession. So he definitely did it. If you say, well, then now I want to try Joe Biden on nothing, I made up charges. That doesn't make sense. Then you're just targeting for. If you have things where politicians have broken the same laws, and they're Democrats, I'm gonna back you 100% on that, right? So right now they're going after Bob Menendez, who's a Democrat, for doing fraud. They're going after Cuellar, who's a Democrat in Texas, for cooperating with Azerbaijan and bribery, et cetera, et cetera.
For being a foreign agent?
For being a foreign agent, great. I hate corruption. I hate corruption in the Democratic Party. I hate corruption in the Republican Party. I wish that the populists on the right would be equally principled and say, yes, Trump is guilty, obviously so, but we wish that you would look into campaign finance violations for all these crooks who are politicians. And I would agree 100% with that. But you can't say we should just let him out even though he definitely did the crime. And by the way, on the other charges, the other trials, we'll see if they get to it within time here before the elections. But he obviously did those as well. The evidence is overwhelming and he doesn't even dispute it in court. And last two things here for me on this is that he's just such a terrible defendant. Because if you're a lawyer, this is not the guy you want to defend. Even if he was innocent, he just comes in there and all he has is bluster. He makes the lawyers lie. He brings on guys like Costello, who's a thug, and it looks like a thug, to defend him. When all the lawyers said, what are you doing? Why did you bring this guy? All he's gonna do is antagonize the jury. He makes his lawyers dumber because he thinks that, oh, well, I'll just intimidate the jury. That's not how you win in a trial, you idiot, right? So, and look, I'm gonna give one comment to one of our members. Our paying members make this show possible. We love you guys, we love doing this show with you guys. tyt.com/team, and you get to be part of the show, and that link is in the description box, or you could hit the join button below. Eclectic Miscellanea, a great member of ours, has been around a long time, said 100% agree with ladies and gentlemen, we got him. But I'm waiting until November to start saying down goes Trump.
That's a good point.
And that's a great point, because whatever sentence he gets here is not going to be anywhere near as large as the sentence he would get for basically the coup attempt when he tried to bring in the fake electors to replace the real electors, or on the taking the top secret documents out. And he will be able to knock those cases out if he wins the presidency. This will seem minor in comparison. If he wins, he'll make most of this go away.
Right.
So really, the election is the one that'll decide whether Trump went down or not.
So when we come back from the break, I actually want to get into the various polls that asked voters, including MAGA voters, MAGA supporters, whether they would change their vote should Donald Trump be convicted of felonies. So stick around for that story, along with the reactions from Trump supporters in the media and in the political world. We're gonna talk about all of that when we come back. Don't miss it.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.